Hey guys, gals, and Legionnaires, Rycon here, and welcome to the very first Town Hall. So some of you might have missed the announcement video for this, but essentially this is going to be like a monthly wrap-up and also kind of a teaser for what you can expect to come next month. Not only that, but it's also your chance to ask me questions and I will answer them in the video. But here's the thing, it's not only me you can ask the questions to, you can also ask any of our characters from all the different roleplay series, past, present, and maybe perhaps even future. I don't know how that'll work though. So I asked you all to leave your questions in the comments of that announcement video, so we're going to go through those chronologically, and I'm going to try and answer them as truthfully as I can. And it also goes without saying, spoiler alert, some of these questions may reveal things about the characters that you might not know currently in this series where you're up to. I'll try as best I can to give you a warning beforehand when I ask the character a question, so that you might have a chance to just skip ahead a little bit and miss out on that answer. So our very first question comes from Damocles COE, and Damocles' question is for Aaron Swanson from our Division roleplay. Damocles asks, Aaron, what was your occupation before the SHD recruited you, and what was your cover story in New York before the dollar flu hit?
Well, Damocles, the information is on a strict need-to-know basis, but it appears you need to know. I'm somewhat different from the other agents. I didn't come from a civilian background. I was what you could call a soldier of fortune. I got to see a lot of the world, travel to exotic places, and take life from those who would disturb the delicate balance of order. Rebellions, dictators, terrorists. I can't reveal any of the specifics of my mission data, but I had done enough to catch the eye of the SHD, and from there I was reinserted into the general public. Mall cop, if you could believe it. But it was stability. That's all I got for now.
Alrighty, thank you, Mr. Swanson and Damocles for the question. Let's just make sure we keep this one between us though. Next question comes from Jordan McMullen. Jordan asks, how does one vote for you as world leader? I'm not sure yet, but we do have a legion and we do have legionnaires, so perhaps if we manage to take the world by force, we then may be able to institute some kind of voting system in which you could vote for your favorite YouTuber to lead the world into a prosperous future. But then we wouldn't have any time for role-playing, so sorry Jordan, I don't have any aspirations of world leader just yet. Maybe for retirement. Question number 3 comes from The Other Half. The Other Half asks, Aaron, once again, where you from, mate? So Aaron, where are you from?
West Coast. Can't be specific. There are people special to me that I need to protect.
I wouldn't doubt that for a second. Thanks for the question, The Other Half, and sorry it's so vague, but Swanson does need to watch out for himself and his own. Question number 4, Jalen Carter asks, Rycon, will you ever make Leon an evil character? Well, no, but it's difficult to say. It's hard to define exactly what evil is. Evil is all about perspective. An evil character quite often doesn't think that they're doing evil things. They think sometimes that they're actually the good guy. And, well, Leon does think that he's the good guy, so I feel like Leon already kind of walks that balance between being good and evil, and I think he's probably going to have to do some atrocious things to be able to achieve his goals. Especially with some of the later episodes, you'll see that he is needing to tap into his potential. Question number 5, Matthew Stiles asks, Rycon, will you be doing the Pit, Mothership Zeta, Operation Anchorage, Broken Steel? Yeah, I think I got through all of them there. Yes, it all depends on whether or not they fit into Logan's story. Like, well, spoiler alert, we're currently doing Point Lookout, and Point Lookout fit really well into this part of Logan's story because he was wanting to go off on his own and try to pretty much blaze his own trail. So, I'd like to say yes, we probably will visit all the DLCs. I'm not sure about Mothership Zeta, however, we will see. It's one of those weird ones for Fallout, and I'm not sure how that will fit into a story. I've just been trying to think about the logistics of it because, well, spoiler alert, if you haven't finished Mothership Zeta, if you complete it, you pretty much end up with a mothership in orbit around the Earth that you can teleport up to whenever you like. And while that might be interesting for Logan, I feel like it's too much of a weapon that he would potentially want to use. And maybe there's something in that, but right for now, maybe leave that one out. Question number 6, Dylan Leroux asks Aaron Swanson. Swanson's been very popular today. Dylan asks, are there any weapons which you prefer?
Any weapon that'll do the job right is a weapon for me.
Right, okay, well there you go, Dylan. I hope that helps answer your question. Question number 7 comes from Owen Williams, and Owen asks Logan, if you ever had the chance to travel back to DC, would you try to continue to help people and make the world a better place, or would you keep trying to look for your father?
Hey Owen, well, I guess I'd like to think I'd do both. My father is still out there somewhere. I don't know where. And now he'll be even further away. But the world, I don't think the world can get better. I don't think it can heal from this. I don't know if its people can either. But maybe I would try both.
Poor guy. Well, I hope that does answer your question, Owen. Question number 8 comes from Full Drag 7802. I hope that's right. Full Drag has a question for Leon. He asks, do you think that Hercian will ever manifest himself in physical form? And if he does, do you think he'll be strong enough to defeat him?
Every day, with the rising sun, I hope to face that coward. Whether or not I'm strong enough, I will rip, tear, and bite.
Okay, well, there you go. Let's hope that Leon doesn't encounter him anytime soon, as it might be a very quick end to our hero's story. Question number 9. MLG Ghazi asks Leon, when are you going to kill Alduin? Don't you think he's a much bigger threat than the vampires?
I agree that this Alduin is a threat to all of Skyrim and Tamriel, but Alduin does not yet have an Elder Scroll. I need that scroll to defeat him. Esbern has told me much of its importance, and if I can kill that foul creature Harkin and tear that scroll from his crumbling hands, I'll be one step closer to killing that foul beast of the sky.
Okay, Ghazi, you heard it from the man himself. He's gonna get there. He just needs to take care of business first. Question number 10 comes from Blueprint Inc. Blueprint asks Rycon, so what happened to the GTA 5 tease? Good question. I didn't really follow up on that after I did a little bit of a teaser for it. It's really just down to timing. What I want to be able to do with GTA 5 is super cinematic, and it takes a long time to put together. It's a series that I want to do, and I will do eventually, but I just don't have the time to fit it into the schedule now. Even if I didn't have anything else going on, it would probably have to be the only thing running on the channel, just because the amount of work I'd need to do on it is that in depth. So I would love to do it, but unfortunately I can't do it right now. Doesn't mean, however, that I won't be able to in the future, so maybe let's just keep our fingers crossed for that. Question number 11, Jacob Ravenwood asks, Rycon, truly wondering, what is your native tongue? It sounds so unique. Well, thank you, Jacob. I'm a New Zealander. We often get confused with Australians because we have a slightly similar accent, but where a Australian will say chip, we will say chop. It's pretty much how you can tell the difference between an Australian and a New Zealander. But thank you, and I think it is kind of a unique voice on YouTube. I've heard a few New Zealand YouTubers, and I've actually had the pleasure of meeting some as well, but there aren't many out there. So when I can do a character that does have my native accent, I kind of feel like I'm doing a bit of, good work for old little New Zealand down here. Question number 12. The Trollatron asks, Fallout 4 is a great game, but you can't really roleplay it because of the dialogue, don't you think? We can. It's possible. There are mods out already that do remove the main character's voice, and as long as we're playing in first person, not having the third person kind of cutscenes for the conversations, it can still work like one of our traditional roleplays that I've been doing on the channel. Now, just to cover all the other questions about Fallout 4 as to when and where we can expect to get a roleplay, I'll answer it here. Pretty much the only thing that I need now to get the roleplay going is to have a mod where I can actually control animations. There's a mod called Groovatron for Fallout 3 and New Vegas, and one called Puppet Master for Skyrim, and that's essentially what I'm waiting for. Something where I can tell a character, an NPC, or our own character to sit down, drink, do any number of actions, and I kind of need those to be able to do those cinematics that we see in the start. I could do it without it, but I feel like I would be cheaping us out of a really good series. So the wait is on, but the preparation work has been laid. Our character has been slowly building up over these months as I've been learning more and more about the story of Fallout 4 through Riley's tale. So I hope you'll stick with me just a little bit longer and wait that little bit, because I promise you it's going to be worth it once we do have that mod. Four Wheel Boogie asks, where the hell is your golden play button? I mean, come on. Well, let's see if we can get a silver one first, and then we'll start talking about a million. But if we ever do reach that point, Boogie, I'll make sure I let you know. Question number 14 comes from George Balls, and George's question is for Nicholas Miller from our Project Zomboid series. George asks, what life did you hope to have before the apocalypse? Did you hope to get married? How many kids did you hope to have? What would you shoot for if writing didn't work?
Tough question, I guess. I never really thought that far ahead. I hoped for a lot of things. Hoped that writing would work out, and, well, if it didn't, I guess I'd still be on my brother's couch. I think maybe I should have just stayed there all along.
Tough one to answer, but I hope that helps, Mr. Balls. Question number 15. Emborium asks, Leon, did you kill your wife and daughter? Well, Leon, what happened?
My family live on. I exiled myself before I could do them true harm, but I fear that harmed them all the same. I left them every septim I earned in the Legion, everything I had. I only left with my armor, my blade at my side. But I too lost them to the sea of ghosts, as I am to them now. A ghost, a memory of a man who once was.
Well, there you go. And that is perhaps why Leon doesn't like to talk about them that much, because it is a difficult subject for him. To know that they're still out there somewhere living their lives without him, and that there is no real hope for him to be able to return. Bit of a spoiler alert here for Skyrim. Please turn away if you haven't finished Season 2 yet. Skip along about 30-40 seconds and you'll be fine. This is question 16, and it comes from the Persistent Noob. He asks, Leon, will you ever unite with Lydia?
Lydia is safe where she is now. Safer than she ever was when she walked beside me. I miss her companionship, yes, but I value her life more than that. I would not, could not, put her back into such danger again. Not when it had taken so much from her already.
Well, there you go, PN. I hope that helps. Alrighty, now we have a question for Outlast Whistleblower and Mr. Waylon Park. This is from Leadfall. Leadfall asks, Waylon, why don't you grab some shoots, man?
Believe me, if I could, I would. But in the brief moments where I don't have someone chasing me to kill me, eat me, or worse, I can't seem to see any lying about.
Okay, a little testy, but I hope that answers your question all the same. Question number 18 comes from Gabe Does Life, and Gabe has a question for Leon. When you were a soldier in the Empire, did you ever want for anything else?
I wanted a safe, secure home for my family. The Empire was a shell of its former glory, the laughing stock of Tamriel. If I could have found them life elsewhere, I would. But the Legion was all I'd ever known, and so I threw myself into it, passion and all.
Well, there you go, Gabe. It's a Legionnaire's life for Leon. Question number 19 comes from Snakebite51. Snakebite asks Mr. Wayland Park, if and when you ever see your family again, what will you say to them?
Well, I think that's rather simple. 2 words. I'm sorry.
Well, there you go. Let's hope that Mr. Park will get the chance to say those words. Question number 20 comes from Mark Soul, and Mark asks, great lineup, but will we be seeing any Rimworld in the future? Unfortunately, Mark, I don't think we will. I won't say 100% no, but I just don't think we will. There's a lot going on, and I do have some other older series coming back very soon, but unfortunately, Rimworld isn't one of those. But I hope you'll still be able to enjoy some of the other content we've got here on the channel as well. Question number 21, Desolate Dragon asks Aaron Swanson, you've had some close calls and missions, don't you think you should have some backup?
Believe me, I'd like to have someone else other than Isaac watching my back. He's smart for an AI, but is still prone to mistakes. The problem is, we're spread so thin. New York is a big city, and there's a lot more Rikers, cleaners, and other scum than us. I've seen smaller groups working together, and while I'm not against the idea, I trust myself first and foremost.
Well, there you go, Dragon. Maybe Aaron will team up with people in the future, or maybe not. So far, he has seemed to have had some close calls, but he's still alive and kicking ass. Question number 22. Lee Taylor asks, what games are you enjoying the most at the moment, and do I ever lose interest in a series? Well, I'd have to say that the game I'm actually enjoying the most at the moment is one that starts with a big capital D, but I won't talk too much about that game right now. But for the second part of your question, I can and do sometimes lose slight interest in the project, but that's why I find seasons work so well, because a season break allows me to kind of step back for a little while, try something else, and then become interested and become engaged again once I start it. Question number 23 comes from Deeg, and Deeg, I hope I'm saying it right here, has a question for Leon in regards to the afterlife. Does he believe in it? And because there are so many other beliefs, where would he hope to end up?
I'm not sure what to believe anymore, but as long as I'm with my family, I will be content.
Alrighty, thank you, Leonidas. Thank you, Deeg. Question number 24, Sarcastic Mouse asks Leon, will you ever cut your hair?
No.
Okay, that was easy enough. Question number 25, David asks Rycon, how do you do it? More in regards to the storytelling side of things rather than the behind the scenes. If you are interested in the behind the scenes though, just click on the little link down there and that's going to take you to the behind the scenes on me making Skyrim, and you can see exactly what goes into each episode. But in terms of my actual storytelling, I try to keep it as organic as possible. I see these games as world simulators in a way. I go into them with my character's motivations and not a hell of a lot else, because I like to be able to allow myself to be affected by the game world and kind of let that tell the story, and then it kind of becomes an organic thing. But it does require me to be very fast thinking and be able to pretty much come up with content on the fly. And while that's really good to kind of flex my improvisational muscles, it can be quite difficult sometimes. So my advice for other role players is just go in there with your motivations, stick with them, and allow yourself to be affected by your environment. Question number 26, Sarah Dean asks, do I edit my videos by myself, and what is my favorite roleplay character? Well, the first question, I do. I edit by myself, and it is quite time consuming, especially for something like Skyrim. You guys would have seen the behind the scenes. That episode ended up only being 25 minutes long, but we had about 2 hours worth of footage almost, which was crazy to go through. So sometimes the cutting down process can be quite long and can be quite time consuming, but I still love it as well because that's all part of telling the story. And the next question, do I have a favorite character? It's really difficult because that's like trying to say which kid is your favorite. But if I rephrase the question, it might be easier for me to answer. My favorite character to roleplay as is kind of split. It's actually split between Miles Upshur and Wayland Park, and the reason why those are my favorite to roleplay as is the situations that they're thrust into are so intense. It really pushes me very, very far, and as you'll see later in Whistleblower as well, we go to some pretty freaking dark places, and it was a great challenge, and that's why I think I really enjoyed role-playing as them. Not only that, but Red Barrels did a fantastic job at creating an atmosphere where I really didn't have to pretend to be afraid. Question number 28 comes from Vintage Dino. How do I get Swanson's voice? Well, Swanson's voice is partly my voice, but then I am actually shifting the pitch on there as well. It's a very, very deep voice. I can go quite deep with my voice, but Swanson's is kind of next level. I wanted it to be a really, really kind of deep, powerful voice. And for me to be able to do that for the entire recording would just really mess up my vocal cords, and I wouldn't be able to do the other characters as well. But Swanson's voice, I kind of find it easier if I lower my head down slightly, and as I'm lowering my head, my voice is getting lower, and then as I start talking in a different accent, like Aaron Swanson, this is kind of how his voice sounds before any editing, and I suppose this is what it sounds like after I have applied a number of effects. I find the reverb helps kind of bring a sense of realism to his voice. But that's Aaron Swanson. And that didn't sound anything like him at the end, but yeah, I hope that kind of explains how I get Aaron's voice. Question 29, Kenway Project asks Leon, what do you value more, honor or loyalty?
In my eyes, the two go hand in hand. You cannot have one without the other, and with neither, you are nothing.
Okay, he's not exactly a motivational speaker, but that's Leon for you. Question number 30, Pretoria asks, have I always been interested in storytelling, and have I tried to pursue that as a career? I have. I've always been interested in storytelling. I used to write little stories as a kid, and I went on to study, actually, at film school to become an editor. I then kind of went from editing into camera work, which I still find is a form of storytelling. You're doing it with visuals, and so now I'm using both those skills as an editor, as a camera operator, and using acting skills to tell these role plays. It's a way for me to kind of bring all of those things together. And I think if my education didn't work out that way, I wouldn't be able to tell these stories to you guys in the way that I do. So I'm really grateful for going down that path in the first place, which has led me to being able to tell stories with games, which is something that I'm super excited about, and I think we're going to start to see more of in the future. Question number 31, Chris Pycon asks Leon a number of questions, but we're just going to answer one of them. What keeps you going?
I have no choice in the matter. My lungs continue to breathe, my eyes blink, my heart pumps blood throughout my being, my shell continues on, and so too must the soul, as we are bound together. That is why I do not stop, because there is no other choice, no other answer to the question. I carry on because I can.
Okay, a bit metaphysical, but we get the gist. Question number 32, Gizwat asks, what D&D alignment best describes you? I think for me, it's probably chaotic good. I don't want to go into too much detail, but I think that pretty much sums me up, in a way. But I swear, I promise I'm not Batman. I'm not Batman. Question number 33, Max Franks asks Wayland Park, why did he take the job at the Asylum in the first place, and why doesn't he try and find a weapon and fight back?
I took the job, just as any other would. It paid well, and we had bills needing paying. A motivation many of us can attest to. And as to why I haven't attempted to fight back, well, I've never quite been a physical man, but I'm afraid that even if I were, I would stand no chance against these people. This asylum has twisted them. Their strength, their speed, their cruelty is enhanced beyond the normal human level. I believe it's one of the only reasons I'm still alive. That I'm not one of the many bodies I've seen so far, while they stood and tried to fight. I ran, and became a mouse hiding within the walls.
A very good reason, and I kind of have to agree with him. Those guys pack one hell of a punch. Even poor Miles couldn't really deal with them, and he seemed to be quite a kind of physical, go-get-em kind of guy. Yeah, they're beyond our normal kind of human strength, and not to be messed with. We've seen what Walker can do, and the others, well, they can do things just as bad. Spoiler alert for Skyrim. If you haven't seen the end of Season 2, please skip ahead at least 30 or 40 seconds. Question number 34, Stephen the Slayer asks Leon, how do you think you're coping with the loss of your companions?
I believe I'm coping as well as anyone could. I wish there was more I could do. I wish I could throttle the life out of Hercian and his dogs.
A feeling that I'm pretty sure every single one of us shares as well. So there you go, Stephen. Question number 35 comes from Ace Talent, and it's for Logan. Do you ever wish you could return to your vault and live out the rest of your days?
Honestly, I don't know if I could. Everything I've seen, everything I've experienced, I'm not the same. I wouldn't fit. I'm one of them now. The outsiders. The wastelanders. I'm not a vault dweller anymore.
Well, I think that about answers it, Ace. Question number 36. Anthony Nicholson has a question for Leon. Leon, have any of the fine ladies of Skyrim ever taken your eye?
My heart was won long ago, and I fear I should never feel again for another. I could not allow myself to become intimate with another, for I am a creature of the wild, a beast, and I have no place in that world.
Well, moody and broody, but it's an answer all the same. Question number 37, Mr. King asks, Rycon, have you ever played any of the Dark Souls games? Yes, I have, and I love them. The first time that I played Dark Souls, it was painful. I smashed a controller on Einstein and Smo. So yeah, I've been there, I've felt that pain. But I fought through it and I became a better gamer because of it. I really do think that the Souls games make better gamers, but they also destroy us at the same time. And I have completed Dark Souls 3 recently. I thought it was fantastic. I thought it wrapped up the series really, really nicely. It was definitely a good bookend. I mean, Dark Souls 2, while it was fun to play and it kind of looked pretty, going back on it now, it seems like a bit of a sore thumb that sticks out in the middle between two really solid games. And if anyone hasn't played them yet, I highly recommend them, but yeah, maybe not if your blood pressure is too high. Question number 38, The Green Tape asks, what inspires me to do the work that I'm doing? Now, I've talked about this in the past, but what inspired me to start doing what I'm doing was a Canadian YouTuber by the name of Inferno Canuck. Inferno did an amazing roleplay of Fallout 3, and that got me thinking differently about the way that we play games. It was the first time that I'd seen it done before, and so I started searching YouTube, trying to find different roleplays of all these different games that were out there, and I just couldn't find any. And so I started creating them because I wanted something to watch. It was what I was searching for, and so I figured maybe there might be some other people that want to see this as well. But my motivation from the start was altogether selfish because I wanted to see the story. I wanted to make them for me. And then once you guys started watching, it completely changed. And now it is about all of you. But at the same time, I get to enjoy them just as much because I usually go into an episode rather blind, like a viewer, and like the character. And that's why I like to not do too much kind of like pre-planning. I'll have an arc planned out, I'll have the character's motivations planned out, but other than that, I'm going into it just as blind as the rest of you are. And that's what still excites me about role-playing, is because when you go in blind like that, you allow yourself to kind of fully immerse yourself in the world and the character, and it's just all that good stuff. Well, guys and gals, that is going to be the last question for this, the first town hall I know there were some questions that I missed and there were some double ups, so I apologize that I wasn't able to get to every single one of them. But I hope you've enjoyed this. I certainly have, the rest of the gang has, and I'll look forward to seeing you all in the second episode next month. Now, you all know how this works, so if you have questions throughout this month, leave them in the comment section of this video, and the characters and myself will answer them in the next. Now, it's time for some announcements. We have a returning series. An indie game? Yeah, I'd say it's indie. It's roguelike. It's, well, ASCII. But it does have a tile set. We are going to be diving back into Cataclysm Dark Days Ahead. We've got the second season. It's going to be great. I've got a pretty interesting character in mind that's very different from Noah. If you haven't seen the first series, I highly recommend it. It does give you a pretty good idea on how to play the game. I'm trying to start off with this one as well, with a little bit of a tutorial, but I'll also be linking a great tutorial by Silver Dragon Lord in the description of the video as well, because it can be quite a difficult game to start playing. There's a lot of commands and controls that you need to learn. It can seem really daunting, but I assure you, it's not that bad once you get started. So I hope you'll be joining me for Cataclysm. The first episode is coming out tomorrow. And we might just have another roleplay series joining us this month. I can't say too much about it yet because I still need to do a bit more testing to see whether it's going to be possible and if I'm going to die by trying to roleplay it vocally. So I don't want to give too much away. I don't want to get everyone too excited if it doesn't quite work out. But just know that there might be something extra joining the schedule this month. I'll be sure to let you know, and there'll be a proper announcement video beforehand though, so you know exactly when and where it'll be coming out. Alrighty guys and gals, you know how it goes. Thank you all for joining me on this, the very first Town Hall meeting. It's been fantastic seeing you all. You're looking amazing, you're looking great, and all these guys have been really happy to see you too. So let's try it. I've been Rycon, you have all been awesome, and until next time, stay tuned.